Hello, everyone. This is Grace. It is April the 23rd, 2020, and we are continuing our study on the fifth trumpet, and we are at verse 7. And just to recap, we are looking at demonic spirits that are going to be, that have been held back in a place which is, the Bible calls a bottomless pit, which is, they've just been held back from being able to hurt us and torment us. And they are going to be released upon the wicked. Yahweh is just going to release his protection. They no longer are going to have the covering of God. They now are going to be under the jurisdiction of Satan. So that's what's been going on so far. And we may go back and take a look at the examples again of the torment. I'm not sure. Let's just see what we have here left. And the shape of the locusts were likened to horses prepared unto battle. The locusts are what these demons are called. They're called locusts. And they're called locusts because there's so many of them, because locusts run in swarms. And there's going to be such a massive number of them that the only thing the Bible could compare them to was locusts. So the shape of the locusts were like horses prepared unto battle, running headstrong into battle or into war. And on their heads were, as it were, crowns like gold. They're not coming after the wicked, I'm telling you. They're going to be hurting the wicked too. But judgment begins at the house of God. They want to hurt those that serve God. They're not trying to, they've already got the wicked. Those are their own. They're going to be tormenting them too, because there's so many of them. They're going to be tormenting everybody. Okay, but the primary attack here is the church. And they have to be in the church. So they have crowns like gold, like they're Christians, like they're conquerors. But no. They're just another fake Christian that you sit next to in the pulpit. On their heads were crowns of gold, and their faces were as the faces of men. So we'll look up crowns first. I also did gold. I did everything. Crown. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. Because theirs is earthly. Henceforth there is laid up for me a crown of righteousness, which the Lord the righteous judge shall give me at that day, and not to me only, but unto all them also that love his appearing. Blessed is the man that endureth temptation, for when he is tried, he shall receive the crown of life, which the Lord has promised to them that love him. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you in prison, that ye may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. So let's look up gold. Gold is a symbol. I don't think I said it before. Gold is a symbol of the prosperity and the generosity, a symbol of wealth and prosperity, as well as the good graces and the generosity of God. Because this is what this is the most valuable metal. It's considered the most valuable metal in the world, on earth. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, all of the temple all of the temple vessels, the Ark of the Covenant, I think is what we're speaking of here. They're all covered with, they all have gold on them. The menorah is all gold, and it's one big piece of gold. Exodus 25:11. And thou shalt overlay it with pure gold, within and without shalt thou overlay it, and shalt make upon it a crown of gold round about. And thou shalt make the breastplate of judgment with cunning work. After the work of the ephod thou shalt make it of gold, of blue, and of purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twilled linen shalt thou make it. And the oracle in the forepart was 20 cubits in length, and 20 cubits in breadth, and 20 cubits in the height thereof. And he overlay it with pure gold, and so covered the altar, which was of cedar. Then shalt thou lay up gold as dust, and the gold of Ophir as the stones of the brook. So it's wealth and opulence, and again, the generosity and the mercy of God. I don't know if mercy was a good word. The generosity and the abundance, I guess, of God. I don't know. It cannot be valued with the gold of Ophir, with the precious onyx or the sapphire. It's the generosity of God. For thou preventest him with the blessings of goodness. Thou settest the crown of pure gold on his head. The goodness of God. Okay. I'm going to come to one solid definition in a minute. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge, of Ophir. Wonder what that is. And when they were come into the house, they saw the young child with Mary, his mother, and fell down and worshipped him. And when they had opened their treasures, they presented unto him gifts, gold and frankincense and myrrh. And that was the 3 gifts that were given to Yahushua at birth. Okay. So on their heads were crowns as gold, as conquerors, as Christians. They look like Christians. Well, yeah, they had a crown as a Christian. They look like Christians. But their faces were as the faces of men. Christians, their attention is on Yahushua and God. But these have the face of men. So let's take a look at that. Faces. Okay, I have 18 because I have faces in here, I have intelligence in here, and I have heart in here. So we have to look at all 3 of them. We'll do faces first. I'll put them in order. And the cherubims shall stretch forth their wings on high, covering the mercy seat with their wings, and their faces shall look one to another toward the mercy seat shall the faces of the cherubims be. So they're looking at God. That's their attention. Because if he's on the seat, that's what they're looking at. They're facing Yahweh. And Joab came into the house of the king and said, Thou hast shamed this day the faces of all thy servants, which this day have saved thy life, and the life of thy sons and of thy daughters, and the lives of thy wives and the lives of thy concubines. So he's their reputation. He's shamed them. In that case, it was reputation. And he said, or how you see them, which is the same thing. Because you are what you focus on, basically. It's what the gist is of face. And he said, Thou knowest that the kingdom was mine, and that all Israel set their faces on me, that I should reign. Howbeit, the kingdom is turned about, and is become my brother's, for it was his from the Lord. They looked into him and were lighted, and their faces were not ashamed. Fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name, O Lord. And they shall be afraid. Pangs of sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one another. Their faces shall be as flames. O Lord, are not thine eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than a rock. They have refused to return. Okay. Okay, this is faces as well. So shall it be with all the men that set their faces to go to Egypt to sojourn there. They shall die by the sword, by the famine, and by the pestilence, and none of them shall remain or escape from the evil that I will bring upon them. Before their face the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness. I didn't know I had that many. Okay, so this is intelligence. I call heaven and earth to record this day against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessings and cursings. Blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life, that both thou and thy seed may live. He's making a choice. And I think I did that in both of these. And if it seem evil unto you to serve the Lord, choose you this day whom you will serve. Whether the God which your fathers served, that were on the other side of the flood, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land ye dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. So this is hard. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every imagination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil continually. Circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked. The statutes of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandments of the Lord is pure, enlightening the eyes. Before destruction, the heart of the man is haughty, and before honor is humility. Who can say, I have made my heart clean, I am pure from my sin? This is the last one. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? Yeah, that's all. Okay. And okay, so that's the explanation for that verse. And they had hair as the hair of women. Again, this is another characteristic of the church. The hair is the covering of the woman, and a woman in the Bible is the church. I did not look that up. We talk about that all the time. And their teeth were as the teeth of lions. Let's look up the definitions. We'll do hair first. Oh, only 2. Yay. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering. Cut off thine hair, O Jerusalem, and cast it away, and take up a lamentation on high places. For the Lord hath rejected and forsaken the generation of his wrath. Another place where the Lord is our covering is where Yahushua says, O Jerusalem, how often I wanted to take you as a mother hen and cover you with my wings, but you would not. So, but the Lord is our covering. We all know that. And then it was lion and teeth. Okay, 9 verses. Let's get to it. My soul is among lions, and I lie even among them that are set on fire, even the sons of men, whose teeth are spears and arrows, and their tongue as sharp sword. Spears, I don't know if I looked that up. I don't know if I put verses in here or not, but spears are weapons. And they're used just like sword. When they are used to cause harm and pain, bodily harm, as a weapon. Not as arrows. Arrows can be used as your tongue. Um, various different ways you can get hurt with arrow. They can shoot you with your eye, shoot an arrow with their eyes and make you feel bad. Spear is used as a weapon that hurts you. And normally it's used like spears and swords, spears and shields. It's used just like it's used here. It's used in conjunction with something else. I'm not really sure why it's always paired up like that, but that's the way it was. It's paired up almost every time. And so it was at the beginning of their dwelling there, that they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. And they have that spears in there, I think, because it talks about these lions killing people. So it wants to let you know, yeah, they're going to be hurting you. They're going to be killing you. Wherefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, the nations which thou hast removed and placed in the cities of Samaria know not the manner of the God of the land. Therefore he has sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. They're not going to be slaying us during that 5 months, though, because we're protected. Break their teeth, O God, in their mouth. Break out the great teeth of the young lion. Teeth chew and consume. And it's just part of the slaying and the hurting. Wherefore do I take my flesh in my teeth, and put my life in my hand. Well, let's go back. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him, that I will maintain mine own ways before him. So he teareth me in his wrath, who hateth me. He gnasheth upon me with his teeth. Mine enemy sharpeneth his eyes upon me. Arise, O Lord, save me, O my God, for thou hast smitten all mine enemies upon the cheekbone, and thou hast broken the teeth of the ungodly. All thine enemies have opened their mouth against me. They hiss and gnash the teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we looked for. We have found. We have seen it. The Lord hath done that which he has devised. He has fulfilled his word that he had commanded in the days of old. He has thrown down and has not pitied. He has caused thine enemy to rejoice over thee. He has set up the horn of thine adversaries. Saul and Jonathan were lovely and pleasant in their lives, and in their deaths they were not divided. They were swifter than eagles. They were stronger than lions. I put that in there because it shows strength. My soul is among lions, and we've already done lions. Let's go back. So they had the hair of women, hair as the hair of women as the church, but they were killing people and hurting people and destroying lives. And they had breastplates, as it were, breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots, as many horses running to battle. Let's look up breastplates in iron. Iron is the hardest substance. I think I only put 1 or 2 verses in there. Let's do that first. Oh, I mean, I put them together. Breastplates of iron. Good. Excellent. They're both together. And thou shalt put in the breastplates of judgment, the Urim and the Thummim, and they shall be upon Aaron's heart. when he goes in before the Lord, and Aaron shall bear the judgment of the children of Israel upon his heart before the Lord continually. Just remember, the breastplate is a covering for the heart. So you'll see. And thou shalt make the breastplate of judgment with cunning work. After the work of the ephod, thou shalt make it of gold, of blue, of purple, and of scarlet, and of fine twined linen shalt thou make it. So that one's for judgment. And he put on righteousness as a breastplate, and the helmet of salvation upon his head, and he put on a garment of vengeance for clothing, and he was clad with zeal as a cloak. So here he has a breastplate of righteousness. Stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness. But let us who are of the day be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, and for an helmet the hope of salvation. So that's the covering. His bones are as strong pieces of brass. His bones are like bars of iron, and it's hard. But their covering is one of being hard and stiff and unmovable, but also strong. Those are the characteristics of iron. Okay? And the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these shall it break in pieces and bruise. But the characteristics is really the strong as iron. This is just extra that pertains to the story. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. So the iron is the strength. So it's strong. It's strong and it's hard. Go and tell Hannah, saying, Thus saith the Lord, Thou hast broken the yokes of wood, but thou shalt make for them yokes of iron. But the mountain shall be thine, for it is a wood, and thou shalt cut it down, and the outgoings of it shall be thine, for thou shalt drive out the Canaanites, though they have iron chariots, and though they be strong. I'm pretty sure that's the last one, but we'll check. Yeah, that's it. So their hearts were hardened, and they were also strengthened. They were strengthened by they were covered by hardened hearts, and they were strong. That's what's going on there. Okay, I'm gonna leave it at that because I think it's just hard using specific words to describe as opposed to a situation. And we've already looked at the examples 2 videos ago. So hopefully we'll have time to run through one of those examples again. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. No, I'm not going to go through the examples again. I've already gone through them once. You would have to go back to the very first video on the bottomless pit. There's examples in the first 2 videos. But I'm doing this backwards. I'm just not used to it. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots. Sound is the same as voice. That's their works. So their works were those of men of war. Chariots and horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions. The tail is the prophet that lies. Don't know if I put that in there. They had tails like into scorpions. Tails and sting, I did. Okay. Wait, we need to go back. We didn't finish reading that. And they had tails like into scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. The sting is just this right here, it's going to be what their power is, and it tells you right here. And their power was to hurt men 5 months. That's the sting. But let's look at the tail. And his tail drew the third part of the stars to heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered for to devour her child as soon as it was born. We know from our study in the first trumpet that the third part are the 144,000. And the false prophets drew the 144,000 from heaven and persecuted them by casting them down from heaven to earth. Oh, wrong button. Hold on. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath, if that thou hearken unto the commandments of the Lord thy God, which I command thee this day, to observe and to do them. The ancient and honorable, he is the head, and the prophet that teaches lies, he is the tail. So this makes a lot more sense when you read it before you read this. And the Lord shall make thee the head and not the tail, and thou shalt be above only, and thou shalt not be beneath. And that's what he's talking about here. Oh, death. Oh, this is sting. Just to show you that sting, it's just the result of whatever wrong has been done. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. So that's the sting of death. And, that's the only thing. I guess that's the only thing I put in there. And then we have one more definition. One moment. Okay, so the sting is this right here. And their power was to hurt men 5 months. So this hurt right here, that really means, it doesn't mean to hurt physically per se. It's the primary meaning for it is actually to offend. Okay, and I put definitions here for, hold on. Okay, I put several definitions in here so you can see for yourself. But he answered one of them and said, Friend, I do thee no wrong. Didst thou not agree with me for a penny? It's the parable of the husbandman who went out to get, I don't know. You guys know the parable. I don't know how to describe it. The laborers. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over the power of the enemy, and nothing by any means shall hurt you. So there it actually means physically hurt. And seeing one of them suffer wrong he defended him and avenged him that was oppressed, and smote the Egyptian. But the wrong here is the word hurt. For if I be an offender, that's the word hurt right there, or have committed anything worthy of death, I refuse not to die. But if there be none of these things whereof these accuse me, no man may deliver me unto them. I appeal unto Caesar. Now therefore, there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law one with another. Why do ye not rather take wrong? The wrong is the word there. Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? Nay, you do wrong and defraud, and that your brethren. The wrong is the word. He that hath an ear, let him hear what the Spirit saith unto the churches. He that overcometh shall not be hurt of the second death. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails, for their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt. So this is coming up in the sixth, and the sixth one. And the tails, here the tails are likened to serpents. With heads, they have power, and with them they do hurt. So we don't have to go far back up. I think that was the last one. Oh no, here's one more. Don't remember. He that is unjust, let him be unjust still, and he which is filthy, let him be filthy still, and he that is righteous, let him be righteous still, and he that is holy, let him be holy still. I'm pretty sure it's this word unjust. Yes, unjust. So we would go back. To hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which was the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. One woe is past, and behold, there come 2 more woes hereafter. We made it through. It wasn't that bad. It was very odd for me going backwards like that, but because there were so many definitions that we had to go through. But I think if you catch the first video, you should be fine. If not, you're probably going to have to go back and look at the first 2 in order to get a clearer understanding of exactly what's going on here. We'll go through it nonetheless. And the 5th angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven into the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. Satan is given authority to release the demons that have been held back so far, and who have been held back from the children of God, who he has been protecting and giving time to make a decision whether or not to follow him. And now the time is up, and he has given them wholly over to Satan. He opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke, which is anger or wrath, out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. It's going to be affliction. The furnace is the furnace of affliction. And the sun and the air were darkened by the reason of the smoke from the pit. Everything is darkened. Darkened means that there's going to be lack of the presence of God, lack of understanding of the word I think is the primary definition that's given. So the people are going to get mean. They're just going to get mean. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. The scorpions, they came out as locusts because there's going to be so many of them. So much corruption and cruelty. And they're going to be cast upon the earth, which is the church. And upon them, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And we're going to come to that in a later verse. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, which is the 144,000 and the saints, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And unto them it was given that they should not kill them, but they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion when he striketh the man. Their torment is not going to be, they're not going to be tied to a tree and beaten. No. It's going to manifest itself from the inside. Okay? That may be from sickness, distress, mental anguish, whatever the case may be. But maybe there's going to be something on the outside that is causing them mental anguish. Maybe there's going to be something going on that's going to cause them mental anguish. I don't know. But it's not torture of the body. That's what it's not. It's not coming. The anguish, the torment It's from the inside coming out. And in those days, men shall seek death and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto um, and the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as the crowns of gold. Well, the horses prepared for battle means that they're at war with us. They hate us. I mean, they're not for us. And on their heads, what I understand, which is very little about the demons, is they kind of have a childlike mentality where they're focused on, they become very focused on a goal. So I don't even know if hate is the right word. I know that they don't like us. We know that. We know that for a fact because we serve Yahweh and they hate Yahweh. So, but they have like I know very little, but my understanding is that they have like a laser-like focus where they get a job and they want to do it good. So if their job is to go out and torment people, you better believe they're on it. If their job is to do something else, then they're on that just as well. They're very focused. That's my understanding of them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle. So they're at war. They know they're at war, and they're focused on it. They're coming after us. And on their heads were as it were crowns of gold. This is to let you know they're in the church. They are the Christians. They're the pastors. They're the 144. They're the false prophets. We're going to see that down here. But they're sitting right next to you in the pews. And sometimes standing at the podium speaking to you. And their faces were as the faces of men. But their focus is not to be saved. Their focus is to hurt you. They're at war. And they're up in your domain. They're trying to hurt you. And they had hair as the hair of women. They have a covering that looks like the church. No siree, don't you believe it? They are they are lions. They're wicked men, and they will kill you. And they have breastplates. It's the word breastplates of iron. They have hardened hearts. Their leaders and them. One moment. Here, if they truly had the hair of a woman, their covering would be one of beauty and love. But no, their covering is breastplates of iron. I mean, where the characteristics are strength and hard-heartedness. I mean, it's a reflection of the heart. So you have a heart of iron. Come on, no, they're cruel. And the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And their works are cruel. And their works are war-like. And they had tails like unto scorpions. Their prophets were like scorpions as well. And there were stings in their tails. And their prophets' power was to torment men or to wrong men for 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. This means the destroyer. And notice in John 10, where it says the destroyer. I think it's John 10:10. Let's see. It is. The thief cometh not, but for to steal, and to kill, and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. So, he is coming to destroy not just your furniture, but destroy your life. He's coming to destroy your life and your soul. That's the destroyer's job. Let's go back. And I think that's it. That's it. One woe is past, and behold, there come two more woes hereafter. I would not dare predict this. And those of you who are subscribed already know why. I think I'm one for like 6. Okay. We will leave it at that. If you have any questions, please leave them below, and I will help if I'm able to. Yahweh bless.